Hello all and welcome to Sweating the Small Stuff, a show where we sweat over the details that make our world richer. I'm your personal brain trainer, Keon Boozarjomehri, and today I'm joined by...
Your personal brain fiend, Keon Boozarjomehri.
We really have to reevaluate that title.
No, we don't. I love it. It's great.
All right.
It's very good.
So I have brought you
Everyone
on the
loves
show.
it.
Oh my goodness. You are a treasure. I hope, if nothing else through this podcast, everyone knows what a treasure you are. What are you bopping on?
Sorry, I was moving my mic.
How dare you? We're recording professionals. This is all staying in the episode.
Yeah, whatever you say, pal, about recording professionals. And I was getting some bad plosives. I want to make sure this wasn't going to be a bear to edit.
All right. So, Keon, you may be wondering why I have brought you out of your den of slumber where you fiend over maniacal plans. But I figured
Maniacal minds.
I figured there'd be no better person to discuss this question with than you.
Mm-hmm.
Are mad scientists really mad scientists?
By definition, I assume so, considering they're called that, right?
I was going to say, I'm glad that you brought that part up. I took the courtesy of going to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary and getting us a few simple definitions to play with this episode. So,
I would have loved if you just started the episode like with a cold open. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines scientist as...
they define podcast as when two people get really bored and want to make sure they stay in touch long distance. So they've come up with this charade.
You're not wrong. I could see that being directly in the dictionary, or at least Urban Dictionary.
Just two images of us yelling into microphones. Okay. All right, let me bring it back. So we got three operative definitions to help box off the sandbox. So first of all, I want to define what the word mad means. Mad means arising from, indicative of, or marked by mental disorder, completely unrestrained by reason and judgment, carried away by enthusiasm or desire, or extremely or excessively fond of or enthusiastic about something or someone.
I like the last couple versions of that, not the first two.
Yeah, I think actually it helps frame it as being that, like, you don't actually have to be a bad scientist to be a mad scientist.
To be a rad scientist. Wow.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. All right. So your second definition. Scientist. A person learned in science, and especially natural science. A scientific investigator conducted in the manner of science or according to results of investigation by science. So, yeah.
You better know what science means if you want to.
Yeah, Merriam-Webster's dictionary for science. Please go look up science. It's basically saying a person who wants to question something and look up or like create an experiment to determine if that thing is true, to verify or contest a result.
Well, you've come to the right podcast.
Yes, that is unfortunately like our whole shtick. And then finally, we have an engineer, a person who's trained in or follows as a profession a branch of engineering, a person who carries through an enterprise by skillful or artful contrivance, a crafty schemer, or a person who runs or supervises an engine or engine apparatus.
Whoa. You can't just slip that in, a crafty schemer. Fucking Merriam-Webster, come on.
Oh my God.
She was bested by an engineer at some point and was like, you crafty schemer.
Never again will an engineer get one over on me. I will warn
I'll show
the
you.
world.
Do you know who I am?
I will warn the world of your ilk. All right, so to save us a little trouble, I did dig up a few quote-unquote mad scientists, but I thought maybe you might want to throw some in and out for us.
Sure. Yeah, let's get a burger. Let's get an In-N-Out.
All right.
Get them animal style. So really quick, yeah. So just based on those definitions, to say that like, so a mad scientist meaning like mad as in like I like the definition that's like enthusiastic about stuff. Let's go with that, or getting carried away with an idea.
Yeah.
And then also, being a little crazy, being a little cuckoo in the brain. But then the scientist pertaining to, like, does that kind of have to do more with research than, because, I mean, I know it said swindler for engineer, but, like, engineer sounds like a professional, someone has a profession in which they practice, while a scientist is kind of, like, they might not be the one going out and, like, doing the thing. They're researching to bring back like to draw out a truth to tell other scientists.
Yeah, I think you're definitely on the right track. And for those listening, I'll do my best to dig up an XKCD I'm about to reference and throw it on our Instagram or somewhere. But basically, there's an XKCD that perfectly sums this up, saying that it's a mad scientist saying, I will finally control the world, blah, blah, blah. And the guy comes up to him and says, yeah, but what are you testing for? And the guy said, what do you mean what I'm testing for? I just wanted to create a weather machine. And the other guy says, I guess most mad scientists are just mad engineers. The point being that like he didn't try to test anything scientifically. He just wanted to build a weather machine or whatever doodad or contraption, whatever. So I think that's like the perfect that's what got me on this. As like I was really curious about who else kind of fits in this vein and where are the real mad scientists we should be keeping an eye out for. So let me start us off just to get us a little momentum. Dexter from Dexter's Lab, mad scientist or mad engineer?
Oh, I mean, he does a bit of both. I feel like he makes the things, but also I like a lot of his episodes are doing some sort of research.
That's true. Like there are a lot of episodes where he's rocking a clipboard and he's like shoots laser beams at something that should never have laser beams shot at it. And after your 20-minute episode is over, he has learned nothing. So I think he sets out to be a scientist.
Yeah, like the lab coat, I'm trying to think of like, the lab coat makes it a little bit of a gray area because I'm picturing scientists with lab coats. Engineers I picture with like a hard hat or something, like out doing stuff, except for computer engineers, which are with like a flannel shirt and a beard and glasses.
And some chilled coffee and kombucha. We know what we like. All right, so let's
in an R field bald.
Way to call me out, buddy.
Hey, I'm calling myself out.
Next time you're here, I'm taking an angry bald selfie with you, and the world will know the shine.
Good.
So,
we'll have to make sure we buff out our chrome domes.
Exactly. So next one up, Dexter from the show Dexter, scientist or engineer?
Wait, no, he technically is. Wait, no. Wait. So his profession is, I feel, an engineer. Like, I don't think he does much research. He's just like analyzing stuff in the. Well,
so he's definitely this one's a lab tougher than tech, basically. That's like what I've determined his job really is.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, would that border on a scientist or an engineer, do you feel? Because I mean, his practicing of the art of killing within itself is engineer basis. But I mean, the scientist aspect of his profession is kind of like I feel like those are the two halves of him.
I want to believe that he is a scientist in that every time he wraps someone up, he's curious how many different places he can stab them before they die. He's testing a theory.
I'm curious if he's testing, like if he's actually testing or it's...
He's also
this
asking
is a problem.
He's asking the bigger question. Does this solve crime? Doesn't. But sometimes...
I feel like the showrunners for Dexter, the HBO show, or Showtime, I think it was HBO, the showrunners for the Dexter show, and had looked at Dexter's laboratory and been like, what if killing, though? What if death?
That might be an atrocious jumping off point, but I think I see where you're going. All right, let's bring it back. Let's make it a little more child-friendly. We got Jimmy Neutron, everyone's favorite troublemaker from the Nickelodeon lineup.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Neutron. I said it.
Yeah, I'd say engineer because he doesn't. I don't see him really delivering much, except for like schoolwork. Besides that, he's mostly like creating things, like he's building and practicing more than he is researching.
Yeah, and he definitely. I want to say, like what I've noticed is of the people we've been discussing so far, none of them fall under the category of mad in my mind. They're like focused on science, but they're not. They don't get wild for science.
Well, this is what I love about on the Merriam-Webster's dictionary definitions. Do you have like a time period by which they were made?
So mad,
like the definitions.
Mad is in modern senses refers to angry, and then if you go back at least 100 to 200 years, is definitely where mad referred to the idea of insanity or the idea of enthusiasm more. So he's mad with. Like when they say mad, it usually means a person who is insane or out of sync or maniacal. That kind of mad. The obsessive mad lives somewhere between then and now.
Yeah, because I'm picturing like, well, honestly, like thinking about it now, it seems like one of those things where people are like, quote unquote, taking it back. Like the Joker is a cool pop idol now, when in
Hmm.
reality he's like, a terrible person, and like all of these other like terrible things are now being given new light of like these are cool and badass and that kind of thing, and that like the term mad, that alone, so like mad can have a cool connotation that way, but also the fact that like if I'm thinking 200 years ago, I'm thinking life is working on a farm or
Hmm.
like in
Hmm.
doing some menial task, and then you have one dude that's like, no, I'm going to measure this thing out and I'm going to do this and that, and they're like, that guy's not doing any farm work, he must be a crazy angry person, and like twisting it to be like, that person's not doing the status quo, I hate him, he's some sort of crazy misanthrope, I'm going to get rid of him and he's quote unquote mad. And now it's like, no, that's just everybody because we all need side hustles because we're millennials.
Yeah, I'm now just imagining Isaac Newton under the apple tree, and his dad's like, "What are you doing? Get back
Yeah.
to work."
Get back to the farm like everyone
Get
else.
back
No, I want to
on the
increase
farm.
physics. Yeah.
No, please, the physics. It's right here. Plus, apple
right here,
falls.
the
See, it's
apples.
right there.
It's right there.
All right. Let's bring it back. So, a man near and dear to one of your favorite franchises, the Doctor of the Eggmans.
Yay, Sonic.
Scientist.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah,
Love it.
A footnote for all the people listening and wondering why my brother had a mini. I don't know what to call that. He is the Sonic man. Every time you talk about Sonic and you think you're the biggest Sonic fan, he's watching you from the bushes, waiting for his moment
It's
to
a
strike.
me, Sonic. Just total.
Just madness.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah, no. If you listen to Why a Podcast, then you know that I am I
a
am the
rowdy
Sonic boy.
the rowdy
God,
Sonic boy.
if you have any Sonic news, I will listen to it all day. Oh man, I love me some Sonic.
If Sonic could be used in a PhD dissertation, you would have like 6 doctorates.
Oh my god, dude! If I I could do a research paper on Sonic.
All right, so let's go run down Dr. Eggman's favorite daily tasks, which are acquire Chaos Emeralds, use Chaos Emeralds.
Yes.
So
I feel like he's more of a. I would really. The only way that you could twist this into him being a scientist is if he's the kind of person that's testing the Chaos Emerald's powers. And by the way, yeah, for anyone listening, Dr. Eggman or Robotnik, he wants to get the Chaos Emeralds so he can harness their powers, and that they are a kind of a primal energy source. And so that's it. I think they're just a battery. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He just wants a battery for his big machines that he creates because he's an engineer. Like.
and they never really work.
No, or I mean, he gets a bioweapon like Chaos,
Yeah.
which was like, what the heck, man? Or he gets another bioweapon, Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form. Wow, he's really just harnessing bioweapons, trying to feed him these stones.
He's really lazy. I admire his work ethic. Work smarter, not harder. And I don't know if he qualifies as mad either. He's just involved.
He's mad at Sonic.
Okay.
Like
yeah, he's a mad scientist and that he's a grumpy man.
that. See, that's the thing is that like I wouldn't call Dexter mad. Like he's mad at Dee Dee. Like that's it. All these people are just mad at the people that get in the way of them doing their science.
All
like
right.
honestly.
I think I have one that we can actually qualify as being a mad scientist from
Okay.
pop culture. Dr.
Okay.
Emmett Brown from the Back to the Future.
Yes.
He
Yeah, oh, yeah.
definitely records, like he creates a time machine, and the first thing he does to test it is he puts his dog in it and then sends it to the future and uses empirical evidence using stopwatches to prove that he created a time machine.
They're like, yeah, wow, yeah. As an introductory scene, that's pretty strong.
That is the
immediately saying
science.
that's a scientist. Yeah,
That's a science man. And then he is obsessed with time travel. That like he even when he destroys the DeLorean, he decides to build a time train because it's in him. It's built into his blood.
yeah. And I mean, he even asks Marty when he his younger self asks Marty about like the future a little bit, where he's just like, Marty says like, "Oh man, that's really heavy, Doc." He's like, "Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull in the future?" Is like, "Oh, he wants to know. He wants to test that. What's the difference? Why did that happen?" Like it's more of an. I think that's also the difference is that it's an inquisitive mind versus a here's a problem, I need to fix it using robots.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the genius of it, is that he, a beloved pop culture icon who drives the franchise, is a mad scientist. We Yep.
You either die a hero
Or live long enough to see yourself show up in 2 sequels.
to become Dr. Wiley.
Exactly. And then, all right, so this one, I don't think you'll be very familiar with him, but he's actually from a movie that's semi near and dear to my heart from ye old 80s. In The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai's, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, Dr. Emilio Lizardo. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I remember you guys were watching it in college. I didn't see the whole movie.
It's a banger of a movie.
I'm really upset I haven't seen it.
It is so wild, and nothing about the plot makes any sense, and it drags on forever, but Jeff Goldblum's in it, so you gotta watch it. And
yes, please.
You gotta watch. Anyone listening at home, pause the episode, go. Actually, I want to do like a live stream where I just watch Buckaroo Banzai with Sam, and I just force her to watch it, and she'll be like, "I cannot believe we're doing this." And it is a rowdy. It is a rowdy movie. Oh my god! Like, I will just sit there and describe to you what's happening on the screen, and you will think I am making it up. Anyway.
Oh man, I love those kind of movies.
So Dr. Emilio Lizardo, he's like the crux of the show in that he tries to create a machine that basically travels, like the idea of it is that like there's empty space in every single solid object in the universe. This is something physicists, basically anyone who is interested in physics knows, because the atoms that actually keep you from moving through an object, the actual space between them is massive. So the idea that there is this like incredible amount of empty space in an object holds up. What they have proposed is that that empty space is occupied by parallel dimensions where crazy freaking aliens live.
I absolutely love it. Oh my god.
And so in the movie, he creates this hilarious like minecart contraption that is somewhere between literally a minecart, like think Temple of Doom, and the time machine from the movie Time Machine, or the H.G. Wells novel Time Machine, whichever you prefer. I'm not going to get into a fight about this. If you really want to complain about it, hit us up on Twitter at SmallStuffShow. So he creates a machine where he is testing to see if he can go into the dimension, and he is so obsessed with it that he goes insane, and technically an alien lives inside his brain. So
what?
Yes. So X number of years later, when Buckaroo Banzai is doing his test, and I've never, like, when the Large Hadron Collider does stuff, people will like make a fuss about like, oh, it's going to open a black hole and kill us all. I can't think of a single time where they were like, this is the Large Hadron Collider doing something. We're CNN. I've never like, they'll do tours of it, but like they have like a massively syndicated, like, Buckaroo Banzai just broke across the 8th dimension using his super space car of the future with rockets.
So there's a constant live stream of his laboratory.
Yeah, and it's just like he was the original live streamer. He was the original vlogger of science. He makes Neil deGrasse Tyson look like a lame-o.
See, that's the thing that I think differentiates, is that when the ultimate presentation of their work is usually it's the one thing. Like, that's why for Doc Brown it's like, oh, all of my research has culminated in this time machine. And then for Buckaroo Banzai it's like, all my research has culminated in this interdimensional travel. Like, that's the thing that I think drastically differentiates them, is that like with anybody else it's like, I made a bunch of robots, I like I do because I'm an engineer that makes robots, like that's my job. Well, everybody else is like, no, I'm pushing like the forefront of technology. I'm on the cutting edge. It's state of the art technology, and now I'm going to show you something unprecedented.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like that's a litmus test for the difference.
And I think that's a big insult, is that Dr. Lizardo's entire life's work is creating this interdimensional machine, and Buckaroo Banzai is like a just like world trotting scientist, musician, kung fu fighter. Who's like I'm telling you, the entire introsposition of the movie is amazing.
To see this movie.
I know. We have to set up like a simultaneous live stream where we can just we will watch it, and I just want your reaction to everything.
I would a commentary track of just the entire movie.
It'll be our own incredibly terrible Mystery Science Theater 3000.
it would just be me laughing and you being like, right though. I told you this happened.
Well, this is the best branding that movie's ever gotten. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I think we've hit up enough. We got some video games. We got some pop culture. Oh, wait. I almost missed one. So, another one of your favorites, Mega Man, Dr. Wiley and Dr. Light.
Mega Man. Yeah.
So, we got two sides of the same metaphorical robotics coin.
So this one actually, this one I feel like is a little bit of a gray area because each of the Robot Masters are supposed to be slightly different. Like they're all geared towards something. So actually from the definition we just came up with where a scientist is based on the culmination of their research leads to a product like a proof of concept, then that can be iterated on by an engineer. I feel like that might be applicable here, like a little bit of both, because they are, for each of the Robot Masters, they all do something different. Like, it's the culmination of research in one field, and then you have the Robot Master, versus, oh, I'm just making robots for fun, like Dr. Robotnik does. Like, his robots aren't particularly nuanced. They all just hold little baby animals hostage.
So you're saying, okay, let's take, I can't believe I'm going to use this guy as an example, but was his name Scissor Man?
I assume so. Oh, Cutman, maybe. Like the dude with
Cutman
giant scissors
was the
on
guy
his
with
head?
axes.
The
Axeman?
maybe.
Does he wear that much deodorant? All right, give me a less or maybe more hilarious one. I know you got like an encyclopedic knowledge of these boys.
God, I can't remember his name. Oh no, this might not be a good example. There's one that's like a bat. Oh, Shadow Man, that's his name. And he is, I think it's Shadow Man. There's Shadow Man from the Mega Man Battle Network series and other Mega Man series, but then there's Shadow Man from the Mega Man from Mega Man 7, and he's just an animatronic. Like he's literally made to look like Dracula and be Dracula. That's a pretty bad existence. Like, so if we're looking for his least scientific one, that might be it.
If the goal was to create someone who is a thing and then prove that you can make that thing, that might be it. I guess they're in the gray zone.
Yeah, if we're looking for another one, I think Chill Man or Cold Man. I don't know. There's one that's like ice. I don't think it's Iceman. He is meant to combat global warming, so that one's more of a scientific endeavor.
That sounds more like an engineering endeavor.
That's fair. I mean,
like he's not testing to see if he can stop global warming. He's just trying to stop global warming with his doomsday weather machine.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he's like an entrepreneur. He's just like trying to. Yeah, he's trying to like. He's like, here's a hole in the market. I'ma fill it with a gosh dang robot.
Exactly. All right. So sorry. Do you have more?
And the last one I was thinking, I think his name is Tornado Man, that he is meant to combat tropical storms, like create a gust of wind that counteracts it, which in reality is a tornado is very different than a tropical storm. So, what the heck, man?
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right. So let me bring it to the IRL world so we can wrap this up. So I'm going to throw some, let's call them people at you, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
Right now, this list is basically just one person. Elon Musk. Everyone's
a long
favorite.
list.
Yes. Scientist or engineer?
I would say he himself is probably an engineer, like pretty not problematic, pretty I'd say he himself is an engineer, like pretty pragmatic, but he would be I don't know, because all of his companies that he has, like the Boring Company and SpaceX, and no longer Tesla, but Tesla, that was the point of them, was to like blaze a trail, to be the cutting edge. So he himself, I could see as maybe an entrepreneur / engineer, but his companies and their endeavors would be scientific.
So I think I tricked you, because the real answer was he's mad. He's so he's ready to go when it comes to space travel and electric cars.
He's oops all madness.
Oops all madness.
There you go.
All right, let's bring it back to Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, I thought you were going to say DiCaprio, because he's definitely a scientist.
Is he mad? I don't think he's mad. I mean, he's mad in a few of his images.
He was mad for a while before he got his Oscar.
Yeah, but in order to get that Oscar, the world had to literally be set on fire. So I hope you enjoyed that one, Leo.
Yeah, and he needed to eat a fish or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like how you've cracked this code way open.
Right open.
The sushi question.
For Da Vinci, I'd say scientist. I mean, like he, especially, I think that actually this is it. This is what I think is that the difference between an engineer and a scientist is that a scientist is given a grant to fail a bunch of times, and the engineer super isn't. And so
That
so
is
like
that is the realest thing you've ever said ever.
so Da Vinci had plenty of time and money to just make non-functioning robots like structures, but like as both you and I know as practicing engineers, you don't get that in the corporate space.
Nope. You're basically like, here, we've given you money, give us the thing.
Yeah, and that's the interesting. Oh my God, wait. Does that mean that entrepreneurs are more scientists than engineers? Cuz they're taking like venture capital money and trying to prove a concept more than they're actually delivering a product. Like, I mean, they can deliver a product, but like the investments they get don't all have to like that's the point of an investment is like, this might not work out.
I think you gave us our perfect ending note, which is it really comes down to what you do with the money. Because, yeah, I think you're totally right. I think entrepreneurs, most inventors are in a way, or pretty much anyone who is given money with the expectation of learning a truth about the world more than actually trying to solve a problem with a particular solution or invention. I think that may be the truest form of how we understand scientists versus engineers now, because I definitely feel more like a scientist when I'm researching how we can do a thing because I'm trying to look at it from all the angles. But if I was an engineer, I wouldn't mess around with all the angles. I would just figure out what are the quote-unquote best tools and build something.
Yeah. Like I think a good example would be a scientist is a person that is trying 8 different versions of a thing and seeing which one works the best and then narrowing in on that. While an engineer is putting something together with like Gorilla Glue and duct tape and then just like praying that it holds together.
That is
like the one time.
That's real. That's some real stuff to end on. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Keon, would you like to plug anything?
Oh yeah, you can find me, Keon, at Why a Podcast, also Lawk, LAWK, Life Advice with Keon. Those are the other 2 podcasts I do, and they're super fun. If you like comedy, that's Why a Podcast. If you like a little bit more self-motivation, that's Lawk, LAWK, Life Advice with Keon. And you can also find me on social medias at Keon Boozarjomehri.cinema on Instagram, as well as Print3D LLC on Instagram. And I think that's about everything I'm doing. How about you, big boy?
You're crushing the social game, my brother.
I'm trying, my dude.
So we're focused on sweating the small stuff. You can definitely find us on social media at Small Stuff Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are also on YouTube. So pretty much all of our stuff now is if you want to find it, just go to bit.ly/STSS and then the word like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm making it as easy as possible for y'all to find it. There should be links into the show notes.
Dude, nice.
We're definitely shooting to do some live streams or do some more stuff on YouTube so you can get a better taste of things that aren't just long form 20 to 30 minute podcast episodes. And yeah, I hope to do more interviews. I love having you on, Keon. You've definitely become an anchored co-host and longtime showrunner at this point.
Yeah.
It's probably going
to... Yeah, every time I'm on, it's an absolute pleasure. And I like shooting the breeze with you about science. And I mean, I don't get to use my engineering brain as often as I'd like. So I love it.
Same for you and Lockcast, man. Oh, yeah, don't forget Lockcast.com. So his site is Lockcast.com, LAWKcast.com. And mine is smallstuff.show. So trying to make it a little easier for y'all to find us. And remember, from movies to media to the world around us, it's details like these that make it worth
sweating the small stuff. Yay! I helped.
You did.